Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to TBT Reviews. I'm your host Matt Burns, and on this episode, we are going to be reviewing the Academy Wrestling. Remember, the 4th of November, which actually happened on the 4th of November 2017, and it was held at the Kaioshin Martial Arts and Fitness Centre, Bridgenorth Road, Madeley, Telford, TF7 4JB. Now, one thing I will say, the build up for this show, as both me and my colleague Nathan Goth, who is the man, the myth, the legend. We were heading towards the show and we're actually trying to figure out, all the matches, what twists and turns are going to be happening and whatnot. So we were really looking forward to it. And with the nights coming, with the nights getting darker soon and everything, we knew the match atmosphere in the Kaioshin Martial Arts Fitness Centre was going to be nothing but epic, because the spotlight was going to be in the ring, and it was going to give that big match feel for all the matches. Now let's continue on with the review, shall we? I will state that the Academy has been doing some pre-show matches before the main show kicks in. I will state, great idea, allows the crowd to warm up, allows some of the workers to actually try out new things, and also anybody who's a trainee, it allows them to get that match experience that they desperately want or desperately crave, and it sort of allows them to get the feel of what it's like. And I will state, match experience always trumps training. If I'm honest with you, training is good and always good to keep up the fundamental basis and staying safe. But getting that match experience is something I will state. It's something that allows you to take that learning curve. It actually fine tunes you into becoming a better wrestler. Now, let's get on with the actual pre-show match, shall we? And I will state, this was an absolute fantastic tag match, and it consisted of Drake Winter and Jin, with Gareth D. Holloway in their corner, versus Shane Hardy and Mickey Rowley. Now, Drake Winter and Jin, I will say, they're not your typical pairing. Drake Winter always coming in with his swagger, but he had a bit of a mean streak to him and whatnot. Telling the crowd back off and whatnot. You got Jin, who looked like he should have been here last month and whatnot. He's missed a month. He had it, with his scary mask and everything. I will state, that was one creepy mask. That scared a few of the kids and even some of the adults. Even I'll admit, it freaked me out a little bit. It was just strange to look at. Now in their corner they've got the Gareth D. Holloway, and I will state, he is very, very crafty. He knows how to position himself to allow his clients to bend the rules to their favour. And with this, straight away the referee was going to have a hard job on his hands, with especially Gareth D. Holloway being there. Now, on the opposite side, you've got Shane Hardy, he has been on the main show. He has, done quite a number of pre-shows as well. Now, the one thing I will state with him, he's been trying to get like a bit of a big match win and whatnot. Because he doesn't want to, he doesn't want to upset the crowd, by losing, whatnot. He wants to sort of get that big comeuppance, that big win, so he can sort of say, all that cheering you've been doing for me, it's paid off. Now, tagging with him is someone who's no stranger to the Academy, which is Mickey Rowley. I will state, I've seen him a few times at the Academy, fantastic worker, and has had some great matches. Now, I will state, this is a great match and a great pairing between Shane Hardy and Mickey Rowley, because you've got more of a teacher and student vibe with them. Now, because Shane Hardy's going to be definitely learning from Mickey Rowley, but I feel as though Shane Hardy has still got like a bit of an audience factor and whatnot. And regardless of it, a teacher and student standing, the teaching isn't just one way; it can go both ways. So who knows? They can learn something from each other. Now we'll kick off this tag team match straight away, because we had Jen try to pretty much jump start it, with them going for a double clothesline. Unfortunately, it didn't pay off. Hardy pretty much then took out Winter, and then hits Jen with the body slam. In the corner, starts working him over. And then you got Jen, who soon enough regains control with a bit of a nasty eye rake, and then quick tags showing that they're controlling the match by literally cutting off the ring in half, which shows some great experience, and then quickly tagging, tag in, tag out, tag in, tag out, showing that they've got dominance straight away, and they established they had the control early on, with Jen hitting, controlling the back, more quick tags, Drake leaving a series of the nasty shoulder thrusts, Jen quickly coming in with chokes. The referee is pretty much doing the count and whatnot. They know the rules, but they quickly let go before they get disqualified. While Winter's kicking in a bit of a bruised Hardy, desperately crawling to try to tag in Mickey Roller. Unfortunately, he gets locked in there, camera clutch and everything, clubs to the faces. And you got Winters and Jen, who clearly have capitalised and dominated with the rapid tags, getting the beat down, and then eventually Hardy makes the big comeback, boom, rolls through, finally gets the tag to Roller, who pretty much jumps in, starts fighting back, boom, 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 boom. But then Jen sort of gets a bit of an unorthodox offence, straight away on Roller, trying to get the advantage, regains the advantage. Jen, it was literally back and forth, rapid tags. Winters hitting a double knee drop to the chest, only for a 2 count and whatnot. It showed how great this match was, because it was back and forth action, but it was so deceptive with Winters and Jen, because they didn't look like a typical tag team. And as I've said previously before, never judge a book by its cover. They worked really well. I felt a little bit sorry for Shane Hardy and Mick Rowe, because they felt like they were getting a bit of a more harsh beating than usual. However, it just made the crowd more want them to win it more and fight harder. Now, the end of this match came at the end when Holloway managed to distract the referee, which then Jen then spit some mist, and then Winters managed to get the quickly sneaky roll up and managed to get the quick win. 1, 2, 3. So there you have it. Drake Winters and Jen managed to win the match. I felt as though Shane Hardy and Mick Roll were a bit hard done by, but it does show that numbers do make the difference on the night, because Gareth D. Holloway, the third, he was the third man in that match. I will say for how much he was getting involved. Now Drake Winters on his second win, Jen quite happily as well, but all three of them leaving victorious. Shane Hardy feeling done in again, but I will state the crowd, showed their admiration for Shane Hardy and Mick Rowley, giving them an applause as they left, and and whatnot. But it was a hard-fought contest. The action was pretty much mostly, I will say, Drake Winter and Jen were dominating throughout this match. But give credit where credit's due. Shane Hardy and Mick Rowley did put up a good fight. Unfortunately, like I said before, the extra man did prove to be the winning factor for this match. Now on to the main show of the evening. Stuart Summers, who was the ring announcer, and I will state he always gets the crowd ready and rocking for the show every time we arrive for the main show. And I will state he was getting them up ready for the action. Mentioned that they got some hard hitting matches, some great action, and also the contract signing that was coming up for the main event of the next show, which is the Anniversary 2 show. But more on that later when we get to the contract signing. Now we'll start off with the first match, which was the Executioner versus Big Mike Wild. Now, one thing I will state on this, I know Big Mike Wild is a regular there, and I will state he is hard hitting, he's got plenty of experience, and the crowd absolutely love him. Now, the Executioner I have history with. I have tagged with him in the past when he was under a previous name and whatnot, and I will state that they were during my dark days in wrestling when I wasn't the Funk Soul Brother, but more of a bully. Now, the one thing I will state, this match was not going to be high flying everywhere. It was going to be brawl. It was going to be savage. It was going to be nothing but brute strength. Both men showing it early at the beginning of the match, clashing against each other. No man wanted to give the advantage. Now, here's the thing. What was so good is Mike Wilde, BMW, showed his ring awareness and also hit the fact that he was a veteran. There a bit more than the Executioner, as he managed to offer the Executioner a third attempt to knock him down, and as he went for it, Wilde dropped the rope, which sent the Executioner straight over the top rope, and BMW decided to chase after the Executioner. Now, the clever thing about it is Executioner bounced off the rope as he re-entered the ring and managed to hit Wilde just as he was just getting up. So before, when he couldn't knock him down, he had a firm foot holding. What was so clever about this, the Executioner managed to knock Wilde off his feet when he hadn't got a clear foot holding on the ground. So straight away, as soon as that happened, he was on him. He was literally sticking the boots in. He was literally, doing anything, cheating. If I'm not mistaken, the referee had to warn the Executioner multiple times to be aware of the count, and he is not afraid to disqualify him if necessary. Now, straight away, Big Mark Wilde showed that he had the heart, the passion, and that the crowd was behind him, and he was fighting back whenever he could. But one thing that was so interesting is we saw some big suplexes from the Executioner and whatnot, but eventually Big Mark Wilde started gaining the advantage, looked like he's about to finish him off and everything, and then all of a sudden, if I'm not mistaken, a mysterious man appeared from out of nowhere. Well, basically appeared from the entranceway. When we were first looking on, both me and Nathan were sort of, who is this guy? And I will state this, I've actually done a bit of research on him, and I will say he's not he's not a person to laugh about. His name is Regan, and I will state he is very serious, and he is here. And he is one person who, I will state, as much as he could tell you, run, you don't want this beating, I want you to run because I want you to save yourself from the beating. Regan isn't one of them people. He will tell you to run, but he hopes you to stay because he wants to inflict as much punishment as possible. Now, I don't know why he came out during this match, or what his beef was. Was it with Big Mark Wilde? Was it with Executioner? It caught attention to Big Mark Wilde, who literally focused in on him. Now, the problem with that is Big Mark Wilde was already in a match with the Executioner, and he took his eyes off him. However, the Executioner is clearly then waits for Big Mark Wilde to turn around and cheap shotting him right in the nether regions. And I will state, the referee, it was in plain sight of the referee, who instantly disqualified the Executioner, which made Big Mark Wilde the winner of the match. Now, some people might say that, had the Executioner done this on purpose, or was this part of all the plan? The only thing I will say, there was something afoot, because straight after the match, it was almost like he didn't care he lost the match. The fact that Regan got in the ring, and we had the Executioner and Regan beating the hell out of Big Mark Wilde. They were literally knocking him from pillar to post, and they ended up finishing it all off with a modified heart attack to take down Big Mark Wilde. And it was like they were setting a statement: we are here, and there's two things you can do about it. That's nothing, and like it. Now, with the first match out the way for Remember the 4th of November, we now move on to the contract signing of Luke Basham and Eddie Cobain for the Academy Wrestling Championship, which will be contested at the Academy anniversary 2 show date, which will be on the 16th of December 2017 at the Kaiyu Shinkai Martial Arts and Fitness Centre, Bridge North Road, Madeley, Telford, TF7 4JB. Now, one thing I want to point out with this, whenever we go to wrestling, if there's a wedding or a contract signing, you know something's about to go down, or something epic, at the very least, the table's going to be devastated somehow. Now, the one thing I will state with this that is so interesting is both Eddie Cobain and Luke Basham have been, at each other's throats numerous times. They can't stand each other. Now, the one thing I will state is Luke Basham was pointing out that he's beaten Eddie Cobain the last time they're in the ring. He laid him out and everything, but Eddie Cobain was firing and claiming that Luke Basham can't win his own fights. Like when the Purge were around, he had help from Damo Scorpio and everybody. Regardless of it, whenever he's won a match, he supposedly had help. Now, straight away, it was getting very, very personal. You could see how much both of them wanted to rip each other apart. Now, straight away, the contract was signed, dotted the line, date made. Now, I will state this: Eddie Cobain and Jamie Future were there, and they had a bit of a game plan on. And here's the thing: the first thing that popped into his head was, well, what's the point in waiting until then? Why don't I just take you out now, and I won't have to deal with you at the show? So both of them decided to try and get one up on Luke. Luke put up a good fight, but as always, the number of games was taking advantage. Now, his thing, Eddie Cobain is very ruthless. He has been a man on a mission since he has gained that championship. He wants nobody to take that championship away from him. The fact is, when he's had matches against Damo Scorpio, he was brutal. He knows how to be vindictive, and he's got somebody with him who is possibly even more vindictive and possibly even psychotic, which is Jamie Future. Now, that there is just a recipe for a whole world of pain on anybody who's going against them. And, not just as a tag team, if you're on your own, you got the disadvantage of being by yourself against them pair. Now, that didn't last for very long because Jamie Future forgot about somebody. He forgot about somebody from his past that he's been constantly winding up lately. Oh, that would be the UKWA champion, King, or also known as the King of the Kingdom champion, which is Joey Sanchez. He quickly came out to make the save, even the odds. Then pair scarpered out because as soon as it's fair game, they want nothing of it. But here's the thing: what was so clever? Stuart, made the smart decision and basically had the main event booked, which that the main event for remember the 4th of November is Eddie Cobain and Jamie Future versus Luke Basham and Joey Sanchez. Now, this straight away had the crowd pretty much hyped up and ready for the main event. Eddie Cobain and Jamie Future didn't want none of it. Luke Basham and Joey Sanchez were really looking forward to it. So the thing is, as much as Eddie Cobain and Jamie Future may argue with it, they got to come out swinging in that match later on. Now, with that contract signing all done and dusted, we've now had the main event set in stone. But more on that later. However, we need to get on with this review and move on to match 2. This match, I will state, I did see them battling again, but the match that was decided or picked, I did find very unusual. Now, this match is Kat Von Cage versus Pablo. Now, on one half, you've got Kat Von Cage, who is the burlesque princess, and I will say a very, very dominant female wrestler, knows what she's doing in the ring, against the leader of the independent state of Pablo, who seems to be doing quite a bit of a reckoning against women wrestling. Now, this I have to disagree with Pablo, because I do feel as though women wrestling do work as hard just as much as men. And the one thing I will state, when he started, just before even the match started, he came out to announce his hatred for women wrestling. But it wasn't just women wrestling he wanted to bring out. He wants to make sure he made everyone, people of England, knew he hated them as well. So, So you hate Matt Baines? Not cool, man. Not cool. So with that, he then brought out Karamita, and I will state that this is his girlfriend, his wife, or his princess of Pablo-stan. Now, the match that Kat Von Cage and Pablo are in is a Princess of Pablo-stan match. Now, we had no idea what the rules were. We had no idea what was going on, but the show must go on. Now, early on, I will state this. Kat Von Cage pretty much brought it to Pablo. She was knocking him pillar to post and whatnot at times, but Pablo did have like a bit of shining memories with his cheating and whatnot, and you could see that his darling princess Karamita was very joyous of it. You could tell. Now, the one thing I will state in this, you could clearly see that in a fair fight, that Kat Von Cage would have Pablo set to right, because even at one point, more than one point, if I'm not mistaken, KVK had Pablo knocked out, tapping out and everything. However, just as the bell rang, you got the Princess of Pablo-stan, Karamita, literally declaring, she can't win the match that way, she can't win the match this way, and then, stating, no rules are involved. So basically, it felt like, it was bending the rule, and, KVK was each time fighting a bigger hill to climb as the match was getting restarted and restarted and restarted. Now, as the match went on, you could clearly see that KVK had got Pablo's number. Karamita saw this and decided to get involved. Now, to the unfortunate KVK, with Karamita getting involved, the numbers game was against it, and the fact that they were making the rules up as they went along. However, as soon as Pablo hit his big Pablo suplex, or whatever he wants to call it, I will state the count happened, and all of a sudden a pinfall was suddenly allowed. Now, in the history books, Pablo is now down as the winner of this match. Now, clearly, I will state this: KVK had Pablo's number more than a couple of times, but on the history books, unfortunately, it will be down as a Pablo win. Now, here's the thing: KVK may have lost the match. However, I will state that she did make a bit of a statement and sent Karamita and Pablo packing quite quickly. So, at least she got a bit of vengeance on them and whatnot, and which made the crowd very, very happy. Now we move on to our first half show main event, which is CJ Connors versus Damo Scorpio. Now, Damo Scorpio has got a personal grudge against the Pairs because they've been sort of beating on him, getting involved in his business and whatnot, and costing him matches. And CJ Connors seems to be a person who likes to throw his weight around on Damo Scorpio. Now, CJ Connors, when he entered, you could see on his face he was looking forward to giving Damo Scorpio a beating. Now, to the shock and surprise of CJ Connors, Damo Scorpio came in from the crowd, and he wasn't exactly alone. He came in with a trusty steel chair, jumped the barricade, and the crowd would already almost, you could feel the tension building. You could see the animosity in Damo Scorpio's eyes. Now, immediately, I know he has a nickname, the Blue Arrow and whatnot. He's like almost a bit of a superhero. Now, there is a limit when someone gets pushed too far. This looks like to be it, because the second Connors realised he wasn't alone, Scorpio made sure to use that chair in the most effective way. He basically nailed CJ Connors with it, and then pretty much knocked him stone cold out. And I will state, I have never seen a chair shot in person be so vicious. The referee could not allow this match to start with CJ Connors completely laid out. Now, this left a dilemma, because Damo Scorpio had no one to face. His opponent's knocked out. Now, from the chair shot, this brought out the Purge. Now, Steve Keane and Joe Black were very upset. They didn't know what to do, and you can see the frustration on Steve Keane's face. Now, he then gives the orders to Joe Black to take CJ Connors out to possibly seek medical help. And Steve Keane got in the ring, and it, basically, instead of match being cancelled, Steve Keane decided to become a very, very quick replacement, and Damo Scorpio didn't seem to mind one bit, because I think he wanted a piece of the Purge, all members of him. But it seemed like he got a bit of a game plan, because if you think about it, he'd taken one out straight away. The other one is helping the one that's knocked out, and he's got Steve Keane all to himself. Now, this I will state, as soon as it was all agreed upon, the referee was fine and happy for Steve Keane to fill in for CJ Connors, the match began, and I will state, this was an exciting match. I would honestly say, from pillar to post, it was potentially a match of the night candidate in my eyes. Because straight away, the first, I would say this was definitely the first half match, match of the night. But for the whole show, it's a contender. I don't know, I'm between two matches, but I'll explain the second one later. But as soon as this match started, you got Keane pretty much go. He really wanted to go for Scorpio, but he tried and get instantly for the pump kick. But Dem was all fired up. He's literally starts hitting the Shining Wizard, which Black comes out eventually ringside to sort of provide some assistance. But Damo was literally just died. He just dove over the ropes, taking them both out. He was firing in kicks. He was blatting them. Hits a roundhouse kick for 2. But then you got Keane who starts coming back with his cheating ways. Bit of assistance from Black, who's doing the choke while the referee's distracted. And I will state, Keane did not let up. He was literally using the middle ropes. He was using any part of the ring to viciously hurt Damo Scorpio, because in his mind he has just hurt one of his fellow comrades in CJ Connors badly. But Damo Scorpio wasn't going to be letting up either, because he's been sick and tired of the Purge's crap, basically. And I will say there were some unique attacks in this match. We had some amazing Pele kicks, hurricanranas, pump kicks. It was literally going from outside to inside, and I will state, it was absolutely amazing. At one point, as I mentioned earlier, from the Pele kick, Keane instantly responded with an instinct version of his bro kick, but sent both of them crashing to the floor. Now, I will state this was a match that was going back and forth, and even at one point, I will state I thought someone's career, or was over, because as when Scorpio went for a Hurricanrana, it seemed like as he leaned back, he didn't quite get all the momentum. Now, instantly from here, I assumed Steve Keane was going to pretty much pick him up and slam him down with a powerbomb in a vicious style. That wasn't the case. Instead, he just dropped down into a pile driver that I will state I honestly thought he killed Damo Scorpio. Match done. Over. 1, 2, and I don't know how Scorpio managed to kick out to to an unbelievable roar of the crowd. But everyone was in disbelief. The match had been over. You can see on Keane's face, he was like, how? He then starts pumping up, getting ready for the hit the bro kick, and then from out of nowhere, Damo somehow, while he missed, managed to get a schoolboy. 1, 2, 3. It was unbelievable. He managed to get the win, and I will state he scarpered out there very quickly, because he knew the second he won the match that Black was going to be coming in. Now, Black and Keane were very upset. You could see the frustration, but Damo Scorpio stood tall against him, and you could see he was happy with the results. He was ready with this, and in his eyes, he just had one more person to beat. He just needs to beat Joe Black to officially be able to state he has beaten all members of the Purge individually. So he's got a target to aim for. Now, in my eyes, with this, I will state this was very personal, and you can see that Damo left with the adulation of the crowd, but you can see the animosity from the Purge. They were furious. However, no, they weren't blaming each other, luckily enough. They were just upset, furious. They didn't know what to do, or even how Damo had managed to somehow come up with this win. However, to much people's shock, their night wasn't over. But before their next match, they had a bit of a short interval break. Now, the break was actually short for the show, and I will state it was great to have the Master of Ceremonies, Stuart, really, rehype the crowd, get them ready for the second half, and for the big main event and whatnot that will be happening later on in the night. Now, one thing I thought was interesting on this one is usually did the introductions for the commentators. Now, unfortunately, due to some technical equipment, the commentators weren't announced the first half because their equipment had somehow malfunctioned. However, they might have actually come up with a solution and maybe got some repairs done. However, they were doing commentary for the second half of the show, which was Simon Brown, which I will state is a fellow colleague of mine, a good friend I know from EDW days, SWA and whatnot. And then we had Joey Osborne. Now, I will state, me and him have got some history in the past and whatnot, but I will state, fantastic wrestler and amazing person to know as well. He was there, basically calling it like it is, so it was quite interesting. But however, I did notice that the Man of 1,000 entrances, Templeton Cruz, wasn't there. Unfortunately, we don't know why he wasn't there. However, I do think that Joey Osborne is a great fill-in or a great replacement for him for this event. But anyway, moving on to the fourth match of the main show, which, if I am not mistaken, I believe it was the Purge versus the Metro Club. Now, the interesting thing about this was the fact that we had the Purge coming out, which was Steve Keane and Joe Black. Now, Steve Keen's already wrestled a match, so technically he didn't really have to wrestle too much. However, I will state it shows the quality and stamina, the fact that he was coming out ready and willing to do this tag match against the Metro Club. Now, as soon as they got in the ring, the Purge did. The second you heard the music for the Metro Club, you knew business was about to pick up. Almost immediately, as soon as the match started, the Metro Club were all over the Purge like a bad rash. I'm not even sure if the actual match actually came underway officially, because the action was, it just pretty much straight off the bat. They were going tooth and nail. It literally spilled out the ring. It got very personal and whatnot, because you had the Metro Club really gunning for the Purge straight away. Chairs were being swung and whatnot, and I will state the Metro Club were going for the Purge, especially because of the last show events where I believe Jezebel was put to a table unnecessarily by the Purge, and the Metro Club in their own eyes saw that they had laid their hands on someone close to them and personal and really hurt them immediately as soon as the brawl started coming out. However, as the brawl was going on, the entire locker room started to come out. It pretty much opened up. They were literally being pulled apart, and I'm pretty sure the match got thrown out. But you could see the animosity between the Metro Club and the Purge. They were, they really want to go at each other. However, what we did notice for this is that, we had Damo Scorpio in the ring with the Metro Club, and then all of a sudden challenge was thrown out. The Metro Club and Damo Scorpio versus the Purge tables match. Now, we didn't know if it was fully accepted on the night, but however, after the actual event on social media, we actually found out that match was actually officially accepted. So at the Anniversary 2 show, we've got a tables match between the Purge versus the Metro Club and the Blue Arrow, Damo Scorpio. Now, once all the dust has settled and the ring was cleared from all the devastation that had happened in the fourth match, I will state the show was quickly moved on to the fifth match, which was RJ Mann with his manager Gareth D. Holloway against Ajax. Now, straight away, RJ Mann, I've actually seen a hit some of his work when he's been teaming up with Drake Winters. I will state he does have a nice move repertoire and showcase some of his strength and capabilities, but he also shows that he's not just a bit of a one-trick pony, and shows that he is capable of some quick movements and whatnot, and the fact that within this match he does actually keep up for quite most of the time against Ajax. However, I do feel that Ajax does have more of the ring experience on the show, on the main shows compared to against RJ Mann. But I will state this was a back and forth match. Now, straight away from the get go, Gareth D. Holloway was already in a great mood from his results from the pre-show match, with having his boys Drake Winters and Jin winning their match. Now, he was hoping to do the same for RJ Mann. Now, RJ had something personal, as he's sort of stating to Ajax, "Are you man enough to get into the ring and whatnot? Are you man enough to face me?" and sort of made the challenge. Ajax, being the fighting competitor he accepted the challenge with no quims or qualms whatsoever. He is that sort of guy and whatnot. If anybody wants to dish out a challenge, he will accept, and he'll do his best to prove that he's the better man and whatnot. But he's also humble. If he did lose, he wouldn't make any excuses and whatnot. Now, moving on to the match, I will say this match was back and forth, quite quick pace, and I will say they both seem to know that they've done their homework, because from time to time it was counter after counter. They were literally going back and forth. However, I think that RJ Mann did have a bit of an advantage by having Gareth D. Holloway. So from time to time, you had Gareth D. Holloway getting involved when he shouldn't be. Now, this almost cost Ajax the max, and gained the victory for RJ Mann. It came so close. Now, at one point in the match, I will state, it looked like RJ Mann had the clear win with a blatant low blow. However, the referee was too busy dealing with Gareth D. Holloway. However, normally the referee would have slid back into the ring. However, he hadn't noticed the pinfall and literally used a step to get into the ring. As soon as he noticed the pinfall, he dove straight to the canvas. 1, 2, kick out. And I will state, you can see that RJ Mann was frustrated. Frustrated the referee, the fact that he just hit him with a low blow. He had this match won, but because the referee supposedly took too much time to get into the ring to make the count, he was going to try and make sure that he was going to get the win this time. Now, as he's ready to finish off Ajax, it went counter for counter and whatnot between them. We got to Ajax almost finishing off RJ Mann turning the tables, almost finishing them off, and then eventually we had the decider. One person made a mistake, and Ajax managed to hit his finisher, which some would say is known as the backcracker or the backstabber, depending on personal preference. He managed to nail it in, get the 1, 2, 3, and get the win, which clearly straight away upset Gareth D. Holloway and put him in a very bad mood. That RJ Mann had lost the match, and RJ was feeling a bit of pain. Now, I would state that after the match, that would all be said and done. Where RJ Mann and Gareth D. Holloway would leave with the tail tucked between the legs and whatnot. However, someone jumped from the crowd and into the ring to personally confront Ajax, which to very much my surprise and the entire crowd's surprise, Damien Vane making possibly what could be his return to the academy. Now he has a face-off against Ajax in the past quite a few times. Now straight away he then jumped Ajax, lifted him up, and hit him with the devastating divine turn, and laid Ajax out, and then started sticking the boot in. You could clearly see he then looked at Gareth D. Holloway, looked at RJ Mann, and they sort of instantly knew, we could pretty much end Ajax here, and started sticking the boot in. However, that wasn't the case tonight, as Mickey Roller comes in to make the save. As soon as Mickey Roller dives into the ring, I kid you not, I have never seen Damien Vane dive out of that ring so quickly in my life. But then again, he wants to protect his pretty face, because he is the most vain man I personally know. And however, RJ Mann wasn't so lucky. He got a bit of a takes his own medicine by having Mickey sort of sock him one and send him packing. So straight away Mickey was then daring Damien Vane get in the ring. Damien was having none of it and sort of scarpered off into the night, while RJ Mann and Gareth D. Holloway left the arena through the entranceway. It's now time for the main event of the Academy Wrestling. Remember the 4th of November. This is the contest between the Academy champion Eddie Cobain and Jamie Future versus the Academy Championship #1 contender Luke Basham and the UKWA King of the Kingdom champion Joey Sanchez. Now, this match actually came into place from earlier on during the contract signing, when Jamie Future and Eddie Cobain tried to get a bit of a jump start on Luke Basham, possibly tried to injure him, so he isn't involved in the main event of the next show, which is the Academy Wrestling Anniversary 2 show. Now, I will state this match was an absolute fantastic tag match because it showed in the match that both sides had a lot of animosity towards each other. Eddie Cobain can't stand Luke Basham. Luke Basham wants to literally take away the one thing Eddie Cobain cherishes the most, which is the Academy Wrestling Championship. Jamie Future wants to back up Eddie Cobain and basically defeat Luke. However, at the same time, he can't stand Joey Sanchez. He has been the thorn in his side, and Joey Sanchez just can't stand Jamie Future at all. And I definitely know this from early years, from when they were wrestling against each other in EDW, where I can honestly say both of them almost numerous times almost put themselves into the hospital. But also, Joey Sanchez has had personal grief with Eddie Cobain this year. Now, everyone's got a grudge, but I will state Eddie Cobain looks up to Jamie Future in respect, and Luke Basham and Joey Sanchez have a bit of a, as much as they faced off against each other in the past, we're trying to gain the Academy Wrestling Championship, but they look past it and as competitors and understand when they went against each other, it was a match. However, in this tag match, they were on the same page. However, Eddie Cobain and Jimmy Future were clearly on the same page as well, which meant nothing but non-stop action for the audience at the Academy. Now, I will state there were near misses, there were near falls, the referee being distracted, cheap shots, eye rakes, spears, super kicks, you name it. This went from pillar to post. This is another match that could be potentially a match of the night candidate for this event. So straight away, I will say it was back and forth. They were down each other's throats at times. I honestly thought either side could win, because you got Jimmy Future, getting in, nailing some finishes. You got Joey Sanchez getting super kicks left, right, and centre. Eddie Cobain being aggressive, Basham going for the spear and whatnot. But each time, each side had almost like a bit of a secondary answer for each other. This was no simple match. This match, literally, if I'm not mistaken, went on for about 30 minutes of non-stop action. They were literally beating the hell out of each other, back and forth, back and forth. You got the crowd on the edge of their seat, cheering on Luke Basham, Joey Sanchez, while also showing their dislike to Eddie Cobain and Jimmy Future. But you could also see that Eddie Cobain and Jimmy Future could not care one bit what the Academy Wrestling crowd were either thinking or saying to them, because in their minds, they are the best, especially with Eddie Cobain having the Academy Championship with him at ringside. Now, that by having the championship at ringside did prove a very pivotal point, because when it came to coming near the end, you got Future, who had managed to sort of sneak in the belt into the perfect position for Cobain. And then, just as Luke is setting up for the spear, referee's watching on closely, and then you got Jimmy Future literally going for diving and distract the referee. And as Luke goes for the spear, you got Eddie nailing him with the championship belt, and then pretty much finishing the job by hitting his finisher, the Let's Get Weird, which is a modified Sister Abigail. Bam! 1, 2, 3. Now, straight away after this match, both of Eddie Cobain and Jimmy Future tried to stick it in at Luke Basham and Joey Sanchez and whatnot. Basically to state, we are better than you, and if you turn up at the anniversary show, we will make examples of you. Now, and whatnot. And I will state, however, what was so great at the end of the show was seeing Luke Basham and Joey Sanchez standing in the middle of the ring after Eddie Cobain and Jimmy Fitch's left and getting a standing ovation from the Academy Wrestling faithful. I will state they showed that they believe in them. They showed that they trusted them, and they were going to back them no matter what. Which I'm pretty sure Luke Basham and Joey Sanchez was very grateful. So that is a wrap on this show, which is the Academy Wrestling. Remember the 4th of November, which it was at the Kaioshin Martial Arts and Fitness Centre, Bridge North Road, Madeley, Telford, TF74JB, which was on the 4th of November 2017. Now, ladies and gentlemen, with the show review done, I am now going to advertise the next Academy Wrestling show, which is the Academy Wrestling Anniversary 2 show, which is on Saturday the 16th of December at the Kaioshin Martial Arts and Fitness Centre, and that will be Bridge North Road, Madeley, Telford, TF74JB. Now, this will be effectively, if you need any information, doors open at 6:30. Show starts from 7 p.m. However, details can, not everything's always subject to card can change and whatnot. So you never know if the time could change and whatnot. And some of the advertised matches on Facebook that are on the Academy Wrestling can actually change as well. Now, if anybody is interested in reserving any tickets for any Academy Wrestling shows, you can always call the contact number, which is 07985 580 and tickets are currently going for £3.50 for kids, £4.50 for adults, and £14 for a family of 4. Now, the one thing I will state right now, if anybody is interested in seeing any matches and also any updates on the Academy, we do recommend you go to the Academy Wrestling Telford on Facebook, and we do recommend that you go to the academy.tv on YouTube to check out any wrestling clips or any big announcements from them on there as well. So with that would be a wrap up for this review entirely. So with that, I'm going to recommend you all stay well, stay safe, and hopefully I'll see you at the next broadcast, at the next review, or the next interview. Till then, stay well and stay safe. Catch you later. The following show review was done by The Burning Truth. Also, all show action photos were taken by the UK Wrestle Fan Zone, also known as the UKWFZ, and copyright is reserved for the UK Wrestle Fan Zone and also the Academy Wrestling.